Hey there, welcome or welcome back to the Millennial Book Junkie. My name is Monique, and welcome to another episode of Thriller Watch, where we talk about all the books, events, and movies coming out in the thriller genre in the upcoming month, which is July 2026. There are a ton of great thriller and horror books coming out this month, and a lot of great horror books, actually. So if you want to keep track of all of them, don't forget to subscribe to my email newsletter at the link in the description box below, because every Tuesday I send out a release newsletter talking about all the releases coming out that week, so you can make sure to add them to your TBR. All right, now before we get started, I would love to know what you are reading. Thank you guys so much for sharing with me what you were reading in the last video. I was so excited to add those books to my TBR, and I'm gonna flash them on the screen so you can see what other people are reading, just in case you wanna add these books to your own TBR. I absolutely love learning about what everyone is reading. That's why I'm always kind of a dork, always asking everyone, what are you reading? Because I just love to know, and I love adding stuff to my TBR. So please tell me, and then I'll flash what you tell me on the screen in the next Thriller Watch video. All right, let's get started. There's a bunch of new releases to share. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and let's get started. All right, so first we're going to talk about the crime thrillers coming out in July of 2026. The first one is We Will See You Bleed by Ron Curry, coming out July 7th. I'm really excited about this one. Stephen King left a blurb on the page for this book in Amazon, and it said, "You can't put this damn thing down." So I'm excited for this one. This one is about a union leader who tries to save her small Maine town as a long paper mill strike pushes everyone to the breaking point. But then things get really desperate, and the women of the town look to our main character, Babs, to become the fierce person she worked so hard to leave behind. Next up is The House Guest by Jennifer Pashley. This is coming out July 7th. This one is about a struggling chef. She takes a live-in job cooking for a famous author at a secluded beach house after her life falls apart. But when she gets there, she gets caught up in this toxic relationship between the author and his wife. And she starts to begin questioning what is real and whether she will even make it out of this alive. Next up is Wisdom Corner by David Heska Wanbley Whedon, coming out July 7th. This one is about a former vigilante who is pulled back into his old life when a respected figure on his reservation is murdered. As gang violence, political corruption, and long-buried secrets threaten his community, he has to uncover the truth before more lives are destroyed. Next is The Country Road Murders by James Patterson and Mike Lupica, coming out July 13th. This is about a star football player whose career comes to a sudden end after a devastating accident, forcing him to return to his small hometown and the family farm he left behind. But when he gets caught up in a dangerous criminal organization, he finds himself fighting for far more than a second chance. Next is The Death Row Club by V.A. Vasquez, coming out July 14th. This one is about a woman whose father is accused of being a serial killer, and she gets invited to this secret retreat for other people who also have murderer parents, hoping to find answers and a sense of belonging. But when a guest disappears and another one turns up dead, she finds herself at the center of yet another murder investigation. Next up is The Intrigue by Silvia Moreno Garcia, coming out July 14th. This one's about a charming con artist in 1940s Mexico, and he targets a wealthy boarding house owner hoping to romance her out of her fortune. But when her niece joins the scheme and hidden secrets start coming to light, his simple scam becomes far more dangerous than he expected. Next, we have The Parisian Heist by Joe Piazza, coming out July 14th. This one's about a struggling artist in Paris who gets pulled into the glamorous and dangerous world of a wealthy art dynasty where secrets, power, and priceless paintings are worth killing for. At the same time, a young widow in the 1800s fights to prove the value of Vincent van Gogh's work, setting in motion events that will echo across generations. Next up, 3 Reasons for Revenge by Dervla McTiernan, coming out July 21st. A woman vanishes shortly after reporting an assault, and mysterious packages begin arriving at the homes of 3 seemingly unrelated people. As the detective investigates the connection, She realizes someone is carefully targeting their victims and maybe pulling her into the game as well. Next crime thriller is The Mortons by Justine Larble-Lestier and Scott Westerfeld, coming out July 21st. This one is about a young woman from a wealthy family of killers who is expected to carry on her family's deadly legacy, and she's always been really good at it, really good at killing people. But after her first murder, there's these old secrets that start coming to the surface, threatening everything that she thought she knew about her family and her future. Next is She Had Enough by Stacey Gray, coming out July 21st. A woman becomes determined to find out what happened to her friend who vanished the same night where a devastating earthquake destroyed San Francisco. But as she digs into the disappearance, she uncovers secrets, betrayals, and lies that someone is desperate to keep buried. Next up, we have Buyer Beware by Catherine Ryan Howard, coming out July 28th. This one is about a woman who moves into a new home, hoping for a fresh start, as we all do, and a chance to leave her past behind. But as she uncovers the house's dark history, she realizes someone is watching her and that the secrets buried there may be connected to her own. I feel like this is a great book for me to read right now since we just bought our very first home. Next up is Furious Violet. I love this title, by Sarai Walker, coming out July 28th. This one's about a burnt out crime journalist who is writing a book about a notorious serial killer. She returns to her hometown. She's trying to get away from the pressures of her famous family legacy, but then a stalker starts insisting that she's the stalker's mother. Weird, even though she's never had children, and she's pulled into this very disturbing mystery that makes her question everything. Next up is Indie Darling by Lauren Nosset, coming out July 28th. This one is about a Nashville private investigator who is hired to find out who is threatening a famous indie rock singer. But then the singer is shot on stage, and the ambulance carrying her disappears. The investigation spirals into a dangerous mystery filled with secrets, fame, and obsession. Ooh, I love that. Next up is Before the Devil Knows by R. John Dingle, coming out July 29th. This one is about an FBI agent who is investigating the murders of two teenagers whose bodies were buried with strange religious symbols in rural Maine. As he uncovers connections to an isolated church and ancient biblical practices, he's got to figure out whether a mysterious insider is helping solve the case or leading him into a trap. All right, we're going to move on to the horror books now. Let's talk about all the horror releases coming out in July, and there is a lot. First is Fun Times at the Bloodbath by Jeff Strand. We are starting off strong here. July 7th is when this one is coming out. This one is actually an idea I had as well, so I'm glad somebody wrote this book. A woman investigates a wildly popular video game after her brother dies from being obsessed with it. But when the game is released nationwide and players become violently addicted, she has to stop the company behind it before the chaos spreads across the country. Next up, we have Fabulous Bodies by Chuck Tingle, coming out July 7th. This one's about an aspiring fashion influencer who is secretly making money stealing and selling dead bodies on the side. But then she's hired to transport the corpse of this famous rock star, and he suddenly wakes up while she's transporting him, and she's thrown into a wild and deadly fight for survival. Oh my God, that sounds so good. Next, we have Brocula by Michael J. Seidlinger, coming out July 7th. This one's about a centuries-old vampire who loses his fortune completely, and he's trying to rebuild his wealth by starting a video game company. Quite the plot. But when money runs short, he and a game developer launch an illegal business turning humans into vampires, only to discover that they are attracting the attention of some very dangerous investors. That sounds really good. I'm not a huge vampire fan, but that sounds really good. Next up is Brides by Charlotte Cross, coming out July 7th. This one is about a young woman who travels to Eastern Europe to care for her grieving aunt, while her secret lover follows just to be by her side. But when their group is invited to stay at Castle Dracula, they find themselves trapped in a deadly nightmare with a host who has terrifying plans for them. The next horror book coming out in July is The Sea Hides Its Dead by Megan Bontrager, coming out July 14th. This one is about a graduate student who joins an expedition to investigate the ruins of an ancient sea cult. hidden beneath a network of caves. Did you hear that? Ancient sea cult. But when the team becomes trapped underground, they discover they're part of a deadly trial where their darkest secrets may determine who survives. You had me at ancient sea cult. That sounds really unique. Next is The Crow Tree by Ben Cheatham, coming out July 14th. This one is about a mother and daughter who move to a remote cottage in the woods, hoping to leave a tragedy behind and start over. But when the daughter becomes obsessed with the local legends surrounding a witch, a haunted tree, and the dark history of the forest, long-buried secrets start to come to light. Next, we have Cross My Heart, I Hope You Die by Mallory Arnold, coming out July 14th. This is about 3 women who discover that they've all been dating the same man. Yikes. And they decide to get revenge by luring him to a remote mountain cabin. But when he turns up dead and they're stranded in the snow, they have to figure out whether one of them is a killer or whether something even more dangerous is hunting them. That sounds too good to pass up. Homesick is up next by Rhiannon Grist, coming out July 14th. This is about a woman who moves to a remote cottage. What is up with all these remote cottages? I love it. I'm here for it. Hoping to leave a traumatic incident behind. But when strange things start happening in her house and her unsettling neighbor becomes impossible to ignore, she starts to wonder whether she's being haunted by the house or by her own past. Next up is White Rabbit by Abigail Rose Marie, coming out July 14th. This one's about an 11-year-old girl who struggles to cope with her father's disappearance while living in a lonely house in Massachusetts with her grieving mother. But when she begins sensing the ghost of Sylvia Plath, she finds herself caught between grief, imagination, and the fear of losing herself. Next is The Turn by Rachel Feder, coming out July 15th. I love the title of this one. A young writer takes a live-in nanny job for a wealthy family and soon realizes something is deeply wrong inside the house. After the family begins to unravel and she's left taking care of the baby all by herself, she has to protect the child from the very dark and mysterious force that seems to be closing in. Next up, we have I Do Not Apologize for My Position on Men by Ray Wilde, coming out July 21st. This is a collection of horror stories, and it explores people who form strange, dangerous, and often unsettling connections with monsters, disasters, and the unknown. You've got me. Blending body horror, oh no, dark relationships, and the surreal, the stories blur the line between what makes someone human and what makes them monstrous. Okay, I'm iffy on that one. I'm not a big fan of body horror. Next is The Flayed Man by Chloe Lauder, coming out July 21st. This one is about an ER worker who struggles to care for her mother with dementia while managing a family curse that requires them to drink blood to survive. But when their blood supply disappears and a legendary monster begins hunting them, she has to fight to protect her family before she becomes the very thing that she fears. Next up is The Winter Folk by Jen Julian, coming out July 21st. It's about a woman who used to work for a mysterious group known as the Winter Folk, and she becomes obsessed with returning to their secret lodge after being banished for decades. She is very determined to see the enigmatic man that she used to serve, and so she risks breaking all the rules and awakening all those old secrets that were never meant to be disturbed. The Seance Garden is next by Juliet Blackwell, coming out July 28th. This one's about a skeptical professor who joins a haunted history tour, and she unexpectedly finds herself connected to a murder investigation after a local artist is found dead outside an old mansion. Now, as she uncovers links to a similar murder from nearly 2 centuries earlier, she wonders if the mansion's ghost stories might actually be true. Next up, we have A Penance for Crows by Shannon Morgan, coming out July 28th. This one is about a reclusive artist who is living on a remote Irish island. Ooh, I like that setting. She becomes the prime suspect when a young priest is found murdered under very mysterious circumstances. As superstition, fear, and strange whispers consume the island, she has to uncover the truth while protecting 4 young girls and confronting the dark secrets of her own past. The next horror book coming out in July is Carry Me to My Grave by Christopher Golden, coming out July 21st. This is about a man who promises his dying mother that he will return her body to her hometown in Maine, despite the dark rumors that have followed her his entire life. But after her death, strange and ancient forces start to hunt them, turning their journey into a terrifying fight for survival. I love that. Next up is A Fate Worse Than Drowning by Sarah L. Hawthorne, coming out July 21st. This is about a woman who makes a deal with the devil to save her sister, relatable, and is forced to lure ships to their destruction as payment. Yikes. But when a mysterious survivor washes ashore and threatens to unravel everything, she has to choose between protecting her sister and saving her own soul. Quite the decision. Next up, we have Calliope Street by Josh Hansen, coming out July 29th. This is about a couple who moves into a fixer-upper that seems quirky at first, but then they soon discover that the house is alive and demands their devotion. As strange and increasingly horrible events start to unfold, they become trapped in a surreal nightmare where obsession, art, and death collide. Again, more books about people moving into new houses and having terrifying things happen to them. All right, let's talk about the espionage thrillers. The first one is Icarus 17 by Charles Cumming, coming out July 7th. This is the fourth book in the Box 88 series, and this one is about a young couple on the run across Greece who become the targets of a manhunt after discovering a secret that could reshape the Middle East. As intelligence agents close in from all sides, a veteran spy and his former lover race to find them before it's too late. The next espionage thriller is January and July by Jeff Abbott, coming out July 7th. This one is about a disgraced intelligence officer and a rookie bodyguard. Both of them arrive in a small Texas town searching for the same missing man. But as they dig into the town's secrets, they uncover a dangerous conspiracy involving murder, corruption, and a traitor willing to kill to stay hidden. That sounds good to me. Next up is Traitors by Robert B. McCaw, coming out July 7th. A Justice Department counterintelligence expert is approached by a Russian spy claiming that enemy operatives have infiltrated the highest levels of the US government. As he races to uncover a network of traitors, a political upheaval in Russia threatens to ignite a global crisis. Next up is Ransom by Daniel Silva, coming out July 14th. This one's about a former spy who is hired to find a glamorous social media star who vanishes while vacationing with friends. But as he digs into her disappearance, he uncovers dangerous secrets that pull him back into a world of espionage, betrayal, and an old enemy who seeks revenge. All right, let's talk about the legal thrillers. I only have one for you today, and it is The Talking Bone by Renee Denfield, coming out July 21st. This one is about an investigator who is known for freeing innocent people from death row, who takes on what seems like a routine case in Georgia, but as she digs deeper, she finds a web of crimes that may be connected to her own past, and she puts herself in danger in the process. All right, let's talk about the mystery thrillers. We have Hide and Seek up first by Soren Sveistrup, coming out July 7th. This one is about a woman who disappears after she receives a bunch of eerie messages tied to a very old children's rhyme, and two detectives are called in to investigate. As they uncover connections to a cold case from 30 years earlier, they realize they're hunting a dangerous killer who may be ready to strike again. Next up is The Season of Sinking by Daphne Wollstonecraft. This one is about a woman who returns to her small hometown after her mother's sudden death, and she's forced to confront the fears she's carried since childhood. As she investigates her mother's death and a local disappearance as well, she starts to suspect that the town and the people who are the closest to her are hiding something dangerous. Next up is Scary Movie Night by Miranda Smith, coming out July 14th. This one is about a woman who is just trying to celebrate her 35th birthday at a horror-themed party, and she thinks she's finally moving on from her controlling ex, but then she starts receiving threatening messages, and her guests, well, they just start disappearing one by one. And she realizes that someone at the secluded mansion knows her darkest secret, and they want her gone. Next up is With Friends Like You by Amy Chozick, coming out July 21st. This one is about a struggling new mother who becomes obsessed with finding her college roommate who vanished years ago under very mysterious circumstances. But when her friend suddenly reappears, their long-awaited reunion starts to reveal very unsettling secrets that threatened to upend her life. Now let's talk about the suspense thrillers coming out in July. The first one is Pretty Dead Things by Kelsey Cox, coming out July 7th. This one is about a group of women who are forced to confront old rivalries and buried secrets when a Texas beauty pageant coincides with new clues about a decades-old disappearance. But when a deadly storm traps everyone together, long simmering tensions erupt and not everyone will make it out alive. Sounds pretty claustrophobic to me. Next up, we have The Man by Laura Sims coming out July 7th. This one is about a suburban woman who discovers a talent for photography after her instructor encourages her to take her work more seriously. But as she captures images that are growing increasingly more unsettling, she starts to become convinced that a man from her past is stalking her and that her growing artistic freedom may be actually putting her in danger. Next up, we have This Changes Everything by Lisa Scottolini coming out July 14th. I love this author. I read What Happened to the Bennetts. Very good. I need to read more of her books. This one is about a woman living in Italy, and she has a terrifying premonition just before her best friend discovers her grandmother has been murdered. Convinced the killing was not a random crime, the two friends start investigating and uncover dangerous secrets that put their own lives at risk. Let's now talk about the psychological thrillers. The first up is Helpless by Jessica Knoll. You know this author because she wrote Bright Young Women, which was a wildly popular novel. This one is coming out on July 7th. I'm really excited about this one. This one is about a woman who reunites with her college boyfriend years after a painful breakup, only to wake up kidnapped in his remote mountain cabin. As she's drawn back into their intense and dangerous relationship, long-buried secrets start to come to light, revealing that the past may not be what she remembers. Next up is Hot Girl Murder Club by Ashley Winstead coming out July 14th. This one's about a struggling pop star who becomes the prime suspect in a series of murders that seem connected to the mysterious death of her sister years earlier. As she fights to clear her name, she uncovers dark secrets buried deep within Hollywood that may finally tell her what really happened to her sister. Next up is Unreliable Narrator by Araminta Hall coming out July 14th. You know this author because she also wrote Imperfect Women, which is now a series on Apple TV. Her latest novel is about a young woman who takes a dream job at a glamorous estate and becomes obsessed with the wealthy people who live there, even as their world grows more dangerous. 10 years later, when a novel exposes the darkest secrets of that summer, she's determined to tell her side of the story before someone else rewrites it for her. Next up on July 28th, we have Getting Away with Murder by Sherry Lapina. Can't wait. This one's about a wealthy couple who becomes very desperate to protect their luxurious New York lifestyle after a financial crisis threatens everything that they have built. Convinced that murder is the answer, they hatch a plan to kill a rich relative if they can avoid turning on each other first. You know Sherry Lapina is going to write something good. I can't wait. Love most of her books. Next up are the domestic thrillers. I only have one for you this time. It's Perfect Life by Meredith Lavender coming out July 7th. This one is about a woman who reinvented herself among Florida's wealthy elite, and she is determined to keep her troubled past buried. But when someone from her old life reappears and her husband starts getting entangled in a murder investigation, she realizes that the secrets she left behind may finally be catching up to her. Next up, let's talk about all the thriller events happening in July of 2026. The first up is the Columbus Book Festival happening July 11th through July 12th in Ohio. And it'll include authors like Paul Tremblay, Isabel Kim, Charlie Donnelly, and Sarah Gailey. Don't forget to look in the description box for the link. The link below has all the info for all these events that I'm going to talk about. Next up, we have an event that I wish I could go to. It's called Haunt the Readers, and it's in Pennsylvania, and it's happening from July 31st to August 1st. And this is basically a horror and thriller book event, so basically my heaven. And it invites you to meet dark-minded authors, uncover chilling tales, and lose yourself in a time where imagination and unease collide. Basically, I just feel like you get to meet authors and read and buy books, and what could be better than that? This one is going to have authors like Sarah Pekkanen, Megan Lally, Saratoga Schaefer, Robin Harding, Marcus Cleaver, and more. Next up, if you're a fan of David Ellis, who is the author of Keep Them Close, he is touring this month, and he's going to be at a ton of events from July 1st to July 16th, including events in Illinois, Ohio, Wisconsin, Texas, and plus there's actually a virtual event that you can attend on July 8th with Alex Finlay. So don't forget to look at the description box for details there, because I know it's really hard to make all these events in person. The next author touring right now is Aggie Bloom Thompson, and she's the author of The Neighbors Are Watching, and she's going to be at several events from July 1st to July 31st in Maryland and Virginia. Also, Chuck Tingle, who is the author of Fabulous Bodies and much more, he's going to be at multiple events from July 6th through the 13th in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, and more. All over the place this guy's going to be. And Caitlin Mullen, who is the author of Heather, she's going to be at Zibby's Bookshop in Santa Monica, California on July 16. Christopher Golden, who is the author of Carry Me to My Grave, he's going to be in Boulder, Colorado on July 30th. Allison Brennan, who is the author of Whisper Creek and many other thrillers, you should check out her website. She is going to be at the Poisoned Pen bookstore in Arizona on July 6th. Jessica Knoll, who is the author of Helpless and Bright Young Women, she's going to be touring this month all over the place from July 7th through the 15th. I believe she's going to be in California, Pennsylvania, New York, North Carolina, Connecticut. She's also going to be having a virtual event on July 9th. If you are subscribed to my newsletter, you'll get alerted about this on the Tuesday of that week, so you won't miss it. Saratoga Schaefer, who is author of The Last Time We Drowned and Tradwife, she's going to be in Pennsylvania on July 31st if you want to go and see her. Sherry Lapina, oh my gosh, author of Getting Away with Murder and a lot of other books. She's going to be at a couple events this month in Alabama and New York on July 28th and July 30th. Clemence Michelon, author of Our Last Resort, is going to be at a New York Barnes & Noble on July 7th. I think she is going to be promoting the paperback of Our Last Resort, which is her second novel to come out. I think that came out last year. Carol Claire Burke, who is the author of the wildly popular Yesteryear, she's going to be at a couple events this month in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. Both of those events, one of those is July 15th and July 30th. Rob Hart, who is the author of Three Hitmen and a Baby, will be at the Mysterious Bookshop in New York on July 7th. Mallory Arnold, who is the author of Cross My Heart, I Hope You Die, she's going to be at the Book Box Bookshop in Draper, Utah on July 17th. Miranda Smith, who is the author of Scary Movie Night, is going to be at tons of events from July 14th to the 31st in Pennsylvania, Texas, Tennessee, and many more states. Ashley Winstead, who is the author of a ton of novels, including This Book Will Bury Me and more recently Hot Girl Murder Club. She's going to be at several events in July in Indiana, Texas, Arizona, South Carolina, Virginia, and much more. She's going to be touring from July 13th to the 24th. And Lisa Scottolini is also going to be touring this month from July 13th to July 31st. She's going to be in a bunch of places around the country, including Delaware, New Jersey, California, and just a ton more. David Heska Wanbley Whedon, who is the author of Wisdom Corner, he's going to be at a lot of events too in July, from the July 7th to the 23rd. He's going to be in Arizona, Colorado, Texas, and he will also have a virtual event on July 12th. Daniel Silva, who is the author of Ransom and many more novels, he's also going to be touring in July. He'll be in California, Colorado, New York, and a lot of other places too. All right, let's talk about all the thrillers becoming movies or series this month. Honestly, I only found one, and that is Silo. Silo is a dystopian sci-fi trilogy by Hugh Howey. I have not read it, and I know sci-fi isn't technically thriller, but it's thrilling enough. And the third season of Silo is coming out on July 3rd. I definitely will be watching this. I love this show so much, and I think I'll read the books maybe after the series is done, but it is so good. I am like obsessed with it. All right, let's talk about the scary movies coming out in July of 2026. I gotta tell you, this isn't the month for scary movies. I feel like it was May. May was the month for scary movies. The first one is Evil Dead Burn, coming out July 10th. This one is about a woman who travels to her in-laws' remote home following her husband's death. After an ancient evil is unleashed, the family descends into bloody, supernatural chaos. This one blends the classic Evil Dead lore with a very distinct French DNA. On July 10th, we have a scary movie coming out called The Town That Takes. And this is a supernatural horror thriller following a troubled army veteran named Dean, whose son vanishes during a family road trip to North Carolina. Teaming up with local detectives, he investigates a remote backwoods town haunted by the ancient legend of Croatoan, and that seems to hunt children. Sounds interesting. The trailer actually looked pretty good, but I couldn't really figure out what it was about, but it looks interesting. Next up, we have Her Private Hell coming out July 24th. And honestly, this is the only one that I feel like I would see just because Sophie Thatcher is in it. She's from Yellow Jackets and Companion. She's really good. I've always liked all the stuff that she's done. This one's about a troubled young woman who searches for her father as a mysterious mist engulfs a futuristic metropolis, unleashing a deadly and elusive entity. Her quest collides with an American GI who is on a harrowing odyssey to rescue his daughter from hell. The trailer looks interesting, so that's probably the one that I would definitely want to see. Next up is Pinocchio Unstrung. That's coming out July 14th. This apparently is a dark coming-of-age reimagining of Pinocchio, and the unsettling tale follows the iconic puppet's disturbing journey toward becoming real. I watched the trailer on this one. Not sure if that one's for me, but I appreciate the retelling. I think Pinocchio would be a great horror story. So that's it. Those are all the thriller books, movies, and events that I had time to find this time around for July 2026. Don't forget to subscribe to my email newsletter if you want all this stuff as it happens every week. All the new releases coming out every Tuesday in your inbox. And you can find that link in the description box below. I'd love to have you. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.